I just got another phone call. Yeah, so we are going into another reblock.
During my last few weeks on board, I've hit my mid-contract slump, a point of time in the contract where work becomes really hard and everything just becomes that little bit more stressful. This is how I deal with it while I'm on board.
So don't be so mad, I know that it's easier said than done, and it feels like it's hopeless. I'm begging you, please hold on.
Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, my name is sMnRmazcx and I'm a dance captain with Royal Caribbean. Today I'm talking all things contract slumps and burnout. This is a bit of an untouched subject, I believe, online when talking about cruise ships, and it's something that I'm really passionate about bringing to life. We have such a unique life experience working on ships, but it doesn't always mean what you see on Instagram or YouTube is what it's like. Everything that I'm sharing in today's video is of my personal experience and my own journey. If someone gets something from this video, amazing, but what works for me isn't going to work for everyone. And there's definitely different ways of managing it. So hopefully this is like part one of like a mini series that I do where we talk about the different ways of dealing with the slump. The last 4 weeks on board as dance captain have been mental for me. I have had so much on both professionally and personally, and there does get a point where you don't reach breaking point, but you reach that point where you're like, I'm approaching. So burnout or a slump. I'm not motivated at the moment to do like my normal gym routine. I'm barely getting off because I just want to sleep and like be by myself. I love my job. I love what I do, and I'm just tired. Being on call 24/7, there gets a point where it does get a lot. I find that living on a ship, emotions are amplified. Everything you feel more, and it's almost exaggerated because of the nature of where we are. You know, if you look at it logically, we're on a tin boat in the middle of the ocean. Everything's going to seem a lot more dramatic than it is. But regardless, if you're a performer like myself, you're an officer, you're a stateroom attendant, you're a waiter, everyone has some sort of slump or burnout during their contract. It's not unusual, and if you're watching this and you're feeling like you're having a slump, please know you're not alone. There are so many people out there who experience a dip in their contract where their motivation, their energy levels, their excitement for their job and for life isn't where you'd want it to be normally, and that's so normal. I also want to say that if your mental health does get to a point where your happiness isn't getting any better on board, or you don't want to see the light, it's time to go home. I know that there, especially in the performing arts culture, there is such a don't quit, don't quit, don't quit culture. But if it doesn't make you happy and you're going to injure yourself mentally and emotionally, there's no point staying somewhere that's going to hinder your growth as a person and as a performer. You can't thrive creatively if your basic needs aren't met. If anyone studied Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it's pretty much what it goes through if you're a bit of a nerd into that kind of stuff. Something that I've learned is really important working through slumps. I actually watched an incredible video a few weeks ago by Unjaded Jade. She is an English YouTuber, and she talks about the power of discipline in slumps, and saying that the little things that you do on a daily basis, like getting up early, making your bed, meditating if that's something you do, journaling, seeking gratitude in the small things, they are the little things, the little building blocks that are going to get you to the other side of your slump. I really want to start a more open and honest chat with performers in the cruise ship industry in particular about having burnout and slumps. I know for me at the moment, I'm really struggling getting on stage to perform. And I know it's not uncommon because I've experienced other dancers that I've spoken to have gone through it as well. But I don't think it's talked enough about it publicly. And it's something that I would like to bring into the space and talk about. So this is how I deal with my slumps while I'm on board.
Working on board a cruise ship means we have very limited access to nature and the outdoors. For example, there's actually no real trees while you're on board, and the crew only have one private outdoor area. Half of it subs as a smoking area. In recent years, there has been a societal change over getting outdoors, but I have noticed it so much more when I'm working on cruise ships. I don't have to walk my dog every day or mow the lawn, or I don't go meet my friends down at the beach for a walk, and I have noticed how much of a toll it takes on your mental health. When I'm really busy and working, there are periods where I don't go outside or the light of day for 3 or 4 days at a time, and that is so unnatural for the human body, but so easy to do when you're working on a cruise ship. Recently, I have purposely made the effort to spend more time in nature when I'm in port. It's as little as drinking my coffee outside or walking to the grocery store instead of taking the bus. I've really been resonating with the quote, "Stop and smell the roses," as I've been doing this. The more time I spend slowing down and appreciating the little moments in nature, the better I feel and the clearer my conscience gets. Sometimes it's the colour of the flowers on the side of the road, or how the sun hits the water through the trees, or my favourite, the sounds of the ocean when we're sailing through at night. These little moments of getting outside have made a world of difference to how I feel. If you're feeling a slump coming on board, I highly recommend taking a beach walk or going on a hike depending where you are in the world, maybe hiring a bike and exploring a new area of the port you're in. And my favourite has been taking excursions that explicitly involve you with the nature. For me, the first sign I'm running into burnout or my slump phase is the state of my cabin. As you can see, it just becomes a disorganised dumping ground, and with the size of our cabins, it gets overwhelming really quickly, if you couldn't tell by the look on my face. I normally try and clean my cabin every night, but when my slump phase begins, I continually just procrastinate it until I feel super overwhelmed, and then this is where my patterns normally begin. When this happens, I nominate a day where I do a full cabin rehaul and reorganisation. I do all my laundry that has been sitting in my cabin for a week, as well as reorganising my cupboards so everything is in the right place and neatly folded. I have a dumping shelf at the end of my bed, and I just have a major sort through and work out what can be thrown in the bin and what I can keep, as well as reading some cute messages that people have left me over the last few weeks. I finish off by wiping down everything in my room. I get fresh linens, and I just try and make my room feel brighter and fresher. If you're entering a burnout, I encourage you to tackle this task first, whether it's cleaning up your cabin or your desk, or even going through your phone or your laptop. Even though cleaning your cabin or clearing out your phone seems like such a simple everyday task, there is such an accomplishment knowing when you've been in a bit of a slump or your cabin's been a really overwhelming space, of walking into something nice and clean and tidy and ready for you to try and tackle the week ahead. Another sign for me that I'm burnt out is I become extremely introverted and get overwhelmed really quickly in large groups. Working on cruise ships, you are constantly around large groups of people, but it can be really hard to find those small moments of quality time with others. It doesn't need to be a major activity or a big night out, but finding small pockets in your week to hang out with a friend or two really makes all the difference. I love running basic errands like grocery shopping with a good friend, or having a movie night when there's no pressure to talk or be overly social with people, or my favourite is having a really conversation with someone back home. It makes the world feel a little smaller and a reminder that you have people who love and support you all around, as well as having people who know how to make you laugh. Another thing I love to do is spending time with other crew members who aren't in my direct team. Working on ships means I get to work with people from all over the world, which means new cultures to learn about, as well as learning about new jobs here on board. As well as that, I have developed some really close relationships with some pretty cool people from all over the world. Those conversations with these people and how passionate they are about their job continues to inspire me to show up for my job and do my best. My favourite way to deal with burnout, however, is to have a date myself day. I try to do this once a month anyway, but when I'm feeling super slumpy, there's just something about treating yourself. For me, it consists of a nice long sleep in, and then spoiling myself in port. I go for a nice walk in the sun, get my nails done, go get a coffee and stroll through a bookstore before I take myself home for a long night of pampering. Being a performer, my body takes on a lot of stress from both my physical and mental performance, and I really don't honour it enough. I use my pamper nights to thank my body for all it does for me and to continue to do so in the future. Especially when I'm doing my body care, I try and use it as a meditative tool. While I'm dry brushing and exfoliating my body, I try and imagine brushing off all the negative and unhappy thoughts I'm having or what's frustrating me most about work. Or when I'm in the shower, letting them fall off me and drained away. My personal favourite though is listening to positive affirmations while rubbing my moisturiser in. There is something so beautiful about telling yourself of how proud of yourself you are and how beautiful you feel while you're literally rubbing something into your skin. And it's something that definitely has made me feel better in the past. Taking the small moments to slow down and appreciate all the things that your mind and body does for you is such an important part of being not only a cruise ship member, but as a performer. I hope you look after yourself this week and take all the time you need to look after yourself both mentally, physically, and of course spiritually. Thank you for your patience as I have worked through my slump the last few weeks, and I can't wait to see you all soon. All my love.